Hey guys, Thomas this is Junior here, aka Mustached, and welcome back to another horror movie review. If you end up enjoying it, then consider joining the link in the description. That'll be the second one. That'll head you over to my Patreon page. Any donations are greatly appreciated, and with that out of the way, let me talk to you about Paranormal Attraction. So this movie starts off with a bit of a flashback thing going on where two cops arrive on this woman that has been killed, and we see a man in a closet holding a knife. From there, we cut to a woman named Sarah, and this house owner named Mel. The Sarah character seems to be some sort of house arranger or something, based off of the info. Anyway, Mel gives her the info and leaves. So she appears to also work on logos. I think that's her official job anyways. But she hears some strange noises in the house, so she starts to investigate. So she's recording herself, and then her two friends, Kelly and Nick, arrive. And they help her clean up the place. So Sarah, this character, is heading out, and she hears more noises outside, so there's some strange activities already afoot. She finds a picture on her bed when she returns of this one individual, and one night during one of her trash takeouts, she hears even more noise coming from the pool. And when she revisits the inside, it is quite the mess. So she calls over an officer named Vanette, and they check the house to see nothing is quite off yet. Nothing seems to have, well, the house is still a mess, but Anyway, during the nights, Sarah seems to take a pleasuring to herself based off of the demonic forces at work. She wakes up and calls one Kelly. But she hears some banging this one door, the door that we saw at the very beginning, opens several times, and the clothes fling at her. So the officer Vanette checks in on them, or her, I should say, individually. Meanwhile, Kelly and Nick re-arrive at the house to do some work and then get distracted, while Sarah wants to take some time away, and she ends up driving off with Vanette, the police officer, off duty, so they're on a date. So they arrive back on the scene, or at least Sarah does, and goes back to the house. And during the night, she has a vivid nightmare about being tossed around by that guy at the beginning of the movie. So, while that's gone on, we cut over to Nick, who's calling over the police officer, Vanette, to give her information about Sarah's ex-boyfriend, because he believes that he is the one responsible for all these little activities that have been going on. Sarah recognizes that she has been injured. And, yeah, as I mentioned, we see the ex-boyfriend as well, at least from this perspective of Nick and Vanette. So, Sarah leaves briefly and sees another mess, and she calls over Mel, or Mel comes over, I forget which happens exactly, but anyways, she wants to know more about the person from the picture, in which, after a very brief explanation, Mel leaves. So Sarah takes a bath and gets dunked on in the bath, so that's why you see the poster. Even though that is a little inaccurate to the actual location, but whatever. So Sarah takes the call for Vanette, and they go on another date. And she begins to talk about when Vanette tries to open up about Sarah's past. They end up kissing, so they're a couple now, I guess. And during the night, her name is called once more. And the doors are doing their thing, and the lights are doing their thing. And then Kelly arrives at the back of the house with some more info about the guy from the beginning of the movie and what actually happened. So there were some little discrepancies along the way and what Vanette was talking about during that little talk. So Sarah sees all of this and she's getting ready to leave, or at least pack up more stuff. And Nick and Kelly provide a potential cleanse, and Mel also comes over. With the four of them there, they decide to take a little break from all the craziness and decide to have a little party and a little part of truth or dare. However, during that little part, Nick goes a little possessed. So, everyone gets a little hurt in the process except Sarah. So Nick is locked up, at least temporarily. And Sarah just starts to describe or talk about this little demon that they have going on here. So Sarah and Sarah goes with Vanette, and they go to her house, and then they get busy. So Kelly starts up all types of rituals to try to get the demon to be banished. And Sarah participates as well, and steps up to the demon and seems to be working, at least for now, as she's physically at least imposing on the demon. But we see that the ex-boyfriend has found the house, even though he said he was going to be avoiding it altogether. Come back, and the demon takes over the ex. We see that demon possessing the ex kill Nick. Mel arrives on the scene, and Sarah tries to yell back at the demon to unprovoke it. So Mel is able to, Vanette, and I meant Vanette arrives, comes in and shoots the demon down. So the two of them kiss very briefly. And then, when the ex is killed, we see a strange overtaking that seems to come out of completely nowhere, where Vanette suddenly shoots Kelly, and then shoots Sarah, and then we see that the demon has now suddenly possessed her. We cut to some time later, where some new couple arrives on the house, only to see that Vanette is there to welcome them, only to see when she enters her police car that she is still possessed by the demon. So now the demon has free range within that cop. And that was Paranormal Attraction. Okay, well, here are a few things. So that ending was completely out of nowhere. It definitely doesn't fit the story that I thought they were setting up. I thought they were going for a more positive outlook, where they do drive the demon out, and it's about this whole message about, standing up to your ex or whatever. But no, the ex suddenly is killed, and then, again, the demon suddenly just possesses the cop out of nowhere. So so there goes that. You know, the relationship doesn't mean anything anymore because Sarah's dead, so. And they only really hooked up over food, I guess. That seems to be the only connecting tissue that they have, so. You know, could do a little bit more with that. Just saying. uh, you know, uh, yeah. The movie seems to move in such a clear direction, and it just seems very odd that they would be like, we're just gonna kill everyone. Kind of makes it a little bit pointless. Except now we know that there's a demon out there somewhere. It'll probably come back to that house. Anyway, other than the ending and the relationship being pretty rushed and simple, the movie isn't really all that great, I guess, in that regard then. It's not really anything that stands out or I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. So yeah, I would probably give this movie like a 3 out of 10 or even a 2 out of 10. Probably a 3 out of 10. I'd be a little bit fair here. And even that's still pretty rough. Anyways, if you ended up enjoying this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you to my Discord server, the other to my Patreon page. Any donations are greatly appreciated. Until next time, everyone, bye-bye.